Hello everyone, it's Olivia, and I'm going to be taking you guys through my situational photography project. Me and my mom went to Ledges State Park, and I decided to take landscape photography pictures there, so it turned out pretty nice, I believe. My first picture was a forest picture, and my approach was to capture logs and kind of an upward angle, showcasing the large forests in depth. I liked seeing the ground cover and the moss on the log, working up to the tall trees in the background. I think the eye follows throughout the picture. I like the sizes because the log in the front is big, the back trees are small, so it creates depth. Um, Potentially some confusion would maybe be that the colors of the trees kind of blend in the back, so it can kind of create some confusion, but overall it's creates a focus of depth and a deep forest, so I like that. My second picture was kind of this ground landscape view. I wanted to show the ground from a low point, emphasizing little details and how big the world looks from a close view from the ground up. I wanted to highlight the details of the moss, and I like the changes of lighting from the sun and the contrasting green and blue for sure. I wish I could have captured more depth of the ground, more depth of field before the details of the ground, but I think it's simplistic and it shows detail about a specific point in landscape rather than a bigger picture. My third one was kind of this rock formation, and my goals was to show details and elevation. It looks steep, especially with the rocks kind of hanging over the edge, and they kind of fill up the image. And I like the tree in the middle. It creates a center that you can follow up from the steps to it. I wish I could have highlighted the tree a little bit better to make it pop as the center, but overall the shadows add depth, and I like the contrast and the detail. Next was my river picture, and the goal was to follow the river with the eye all the way up to the hill, and you can kind of try to picture that the water was moving at a good pace and almost like hear the splashes as it is moving along. I like the highlights in the water, creating that like white glimmery sparkle, and the depth of the river all the way to the middle of the image. I wish the colors didn't blend as much because it's kind of monotone and it can take away from the foreground to the background, but I like that I blurred the rocks in the front. It really makes the river the focus and not those extra details. Lastly, my last picture was the hill, and I wanted the viewer to follow up from the hills to the trees to the sun. I love the shadows. I think they add a nice effect, and they kind of create pattern and detail within the moss. I think the sun rays also look pretty. I did some editing with shadows and contrasts, and I think the rays look really nice. I also really love the color contrast between the green and the blue, and the detail that all the elements kind of came out to be. I wish it could be a little bit more angled to make it more dramatic and more steep, but overall I liked it. Um, I learned a lot. I learned that landscape photography takes a lot of different angles into account, and you can kind of create drama or focus by doing so. And also taking the sun into account is a big deal because that creates lighting, and shadows can really make or break your image too. And also just making sure to focus on the main detail that draws the eye in, because there's so many elements that are a part of landscape. So I think that trying to focus on that main focus and have everything lead into that. So I enjoyed this. Thank you.